everybody, it's Emily at ARG Schooling, and it's time to talk about my August TBR. How are we already almost to August? I feel like July was very quick, but I'm going back to my TBR jar this month. In July, I skipped the jar and just focused on catching up on things that I wanted to read that I hadn't gotten to yet, and I felt like I was really successful at that. There was a bunch of things that I'd had in previous TBRs that I have finally gotten read, and so I think I'm ready to dive back in and see what my TBR jar has in store for me. So if you haven't been following along, I put together a ton of prompts that would force me to pick things up on my shelves, and then I would draw a prompt each month and then focus on that specific thing. So let's see what I'm going to be reading in August. So I'm going to grab two because I like to have choices. So let's see what I've picked. I'm nervous that I'm going to not like either of them. Let's see. Ooh, okay. So the first one I pulled is Titanic books, which I do have quite a few of. So I have actually read one of these already. So okay, that could be something I do. Let's see what this one is. Let's see. Ooh, cults. Okay. I have several of these as well. Oh no, and what if I want to do both? So I only have a few on each. No, I'm not going to do both. That would be crazy. I think, I don't know. I think I might go with cults. I think I'm a little bit more interested in the books I have on this list than the ones on this list. Yeah, okay. All right. So I think I've decided. I'm going to be reading about cults in August. So let me go put together my TBR. And I'll show you what I'll be reading this month. Okay, I am back. I have chosen a TBR. I don't know how much of this is realistically going to happen, but I have a lot of things that I really want to read. So let's start with the things that aren't related to cults. So first up, I want to talk about what we're reading for book club. The ARG Book Club is going to be reading Ordinary Monsters by J.M. Miro in August. And this is one that I have been highly, highly anticipating. I'm so excited to read this with you guys. This is a historical fantasy novel. It's set in Victorian London. This is about magical supernatural children. They're going to a school for supernatural children. Somebody wants to harness their abilities. That's really all I know, but it's giving me all of the vibes that I want in a story. I love historical fantasy. I love when it's set in our world but with magical elements. That is my favorite kind of fantasy to read. And I particularly love reading about Victorian London, so I'm expecting this to be a favorite. So I'm really excited to read this with all of you in August. If you want to join in and read along with me, I would love that. Tanya and I will host a live show here on my channel the first Saturday in September to discuss our thoughts on the book. So if you want to read along and then come hang out with us at the live show and discuss with us, share your thoughts, talk about what you thought about the book. We would love that. So I hope you'll all join in and read along. I have a couple of middle grade titles that I really want to get to that I just haven't gotten to yet. I've been on a really long horror streak, so I haven't read a lot of middle grade lately, but there are some books that I'm really hoping to get to before Sybil season fully starts. So, like, I really want to read The Night War by Kimberly Brubaker Bradley. I haven't gotten here yet, but this is one that I was highly anticipating. This is a World War II story about a Jewish girl in Paris, and I think there's like a magical element to it. I love her writing, so I'm really thinking this is going to be a 5-star for me. I really want to read The Partition Project by Saida Faruqi. This is a story set in modern day about a girl doing a project for school, and she learns about her grandmother's experiences of the partitioning of India and Pakistan. So I'm expecting to love this too, because this has elements that I really love. Like when we're talking about like characters researching their family history, and like an older relative kind of telling their story to a younger, I love that. These are both very big books, but I really want to read both of them. I need to get to Bloodmarked. I've been saying for ages that I was going to make this happen, and I haven't yet, but I really want to before I forget Legendborn. I don't want to have to reread Legendborn before I can get to this. So this is Book 2 in the Legendborn cycle by Tracy Dion, and I can't really tell you a lot about this because I have no idea. I've not even read the synopsis. But Legendborn is about Bree, a black girl, going to, I think, UNC Chapel Hill, I think is where this is set, and she is investigating what happened to her mother. She knows that her mother attended school here, that her mother recently died, and she's trying to like figure out what happened and what secrets her mother may have had. And she stumbles into a secret society that is like all about Arthurian legends. So it's an Arthurian legend retelling, but it's done in such a weird and interesting way, and it's set in our modern world, and it's really clever and really good, and I really need to know what happens. So I would like to get to that. And I'm kind of actually embarrassed that I've not read this book yet, because I should have by now, but I haven't. And that is 11/22/63 by Stephen King, another humongous book. This is 3 giant books so far on my TBR this month. And I don't know how realistic it is for me to get to all 3 of them, but we're gonna see what happens. I love Stephen King's writing. I've been a fan of his since I was like 12, and I've read a lot of his books, but I've never gotten to this one. This is a book that I should love. It's like a historical sci-fi time travel situation with a time loop. Those are things that I love. I love a good time loop. I love like historical settings. I think this, I've actually seen the TV adaptation of this, so I do know what the story is. I have no idea how accurate the adaptation was compared to the book, but I would like to read the book. So, and this will also fulfill a prompt for the Build Your Library Reading Challenge. So, like, I need to read an alternate history, and I think this counts as that, so we'll see what happens. So now let's talk about cults, shall we? I have several books about cults that I've been wanting to read for a while. Some are brand new to me, actually, that I got this year, but most of these have been on my shelves for a while. This was all inspired by 2 books in particular that I've been wanting to read for ages, but haven't gotten to yet. And actually 3 of these would count for that, if I'm being honest. But 2 of them have been on my shelves the longest. One of them is The Library at Mount Char by Scott Hawkins. I have owned this book. I don't even know how long. Let's just say a very long time. Yeah. This came out in 2015. That's about when I started my YouTube channel. So I bought this way, way, way back and then never picked it up. And I've always meant to. I don't even fully know what this book is about. I've heard it is very weird. There's some kind of like cult, and these people have never like been outdoors or something to that. I don't know. I'm making stuff up probably. But like I've always meant to read it. So I really want to make sure I get to this month because of everything in my pile here. Like this, I'll be the most upset with myself if I don't get here. Just because I've had it for so long. And then this one I've had not quite as long. This one came out in 2019, but it's a book that I meant to read like immediately upon purchasing it, and then it just sat on my shelf for years. And that is The Testaments by Margaret Atwood. I read The Handmaid's Tale several years ago and loved it. And when this came out, I was so excited about it, and I immediately pre-ordered it. The day I got it, I was so excited. And then I put it on my shelf where it sat for years. So I should read this. Like, on paper, this is a book that I've been like desperately wanting. I want a like continuation of that story. I would like some closure. So I'm hoping that that is what this is. I have Bunny by Mona Awad that I bought because Kayla read it and loved it. And like Kayla at Books and Lala like talked this one up a lot, and so I bought it because of her, and I just haven't gotten to it yet, but it sounds like a thing that I would enjoy. This is a book of it. Oh, I have I bought this at Porter Square Books in Cambridge, Massachusetts on October 6th, 2019. So that's how long it's been on my shelf. I don't even remember being at this bookstore. When did we go to Porter Square Books? And why was I there? Interesting. Okay, but anyway, off topic there. But this is a book about a girl named Samantha who is at this like highly selective MFA program at an elite New England university, and she ends up in a group of girls, like this clique, who all call themselves Bunny. I hear it gets a little bit wacky. I'm just so curious about it. And both of these next two books came from Nightworms. I have Just Like Mother by Anne Heltzel. I really don't know too much about it, besides it has to do with a cult. I think this is to do with like a woman who escaped the cult and now she's trying to get her sister out. That's all I know. But I've had this for a while. This is a book I got from Nightworms relatively early on, I think, in my subscription. So I've had it on my shelves for probably a year or two. So I would like to pick that up. And then this one I got this year. And that is The Red Grove by Tessa Fontaine. And I am just super intrigued. This one sounds really, really interesting. It just says, what kind of world might we have? Who might we become if everyone were truly safe? What price would we pay for that kind of freedom? And I think this is like a group of women living in a community, and like there are very strict rules. You're not supposed to leave. Like there's this whole like thing. And I think we're gonna find out what happens when some people start to realize that maybe this isn't normal. And it sounded really intriguing, so I'm hoping to get to that this month. Before I wrap up, I need to choose my 12 recommendations from 12 friends. We're getting down here now. You know, I know that I have something in here that I've been kind of dreading because it's a book that like I should read, but I'm scared. So let me just pull two options and we'll see which one I go with. I kind of have to pick one of them, so what's it gonna be? Okay, I'm gonna go with this one. I'm gonna read Lesser Known Monsters of the 21st Century. I actually just bought this because I decided I would just buy it since I couldn't get it at my local library. Let me go grab it. So I'll be reading Lesser Known Monsters of the 21st Century by Kim Fu. These are short stories, and I really don't know too much about it. I was told that I would like it and that it is really well done. I don't know if the stories are connected in any way. It says, in the 12 unforgettable tales of lesser known monsters of the 21st century, the strange is made familiar and the familiar strange. such that a girl growing wings on her legs feels like an ordinary rite of passage, while a bug-infested house becomes an impossible Kafkaesque nightmare. Each story builds a new world all its own. A group of children steal a haunted doll, a runaway bride encounters a sea monster, a vendor sells toy boxes that seemingly control the passage of time, an insomniac is seduced by the Sandman. This sounds really interesting, like very up my alley, so I'm hoping that I like this. I guess I'll let you know. So those are all the things that I'm hoping to read in August. Let me pick them up so you can see how ridiculous I'm being. Let's go. Okay. What? No. They almost fell. So these are the books. Nope. Can't do it. So these are the books that I am hoping to read in August. It is a little ridiculous, I am aware, but I'm excited anyhow. I'm hopeful that I will get to a good amount of these. I definitely won't get to all. I've never read an entire TBR that I pulled together ever. So I don't think I'm going to get to everything here, but I'm hoping to get to a good chunk of it. So let me know in the comments what you plan on reading in the month of August, and I will see you guys in my next video. Happy reading. Bye!